you guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my video. Girl, friend, we need to talk. We need to talk because I feel that for a lot of us, for the majority of us trans women especially, I can't really speak on the trans male experience, but for trans women, I feel that a lot of us feel so disempowered in our relationships. I feel like there is this overwhelming feeling that a lot of us have that it's almost like, oh, we're never going to be with someone, or it's going to be difficult to find a partner that we can truly match with. And I'm here to tell you that, girl, at the end of the day, we are the ones, transgender women, yes, us heifers, yes, we are the ones that essentially hold the monopoly in the transgender dating scene. It is not the guys. Like what? Okay, let's get into what I just said. Why am I saying it's not the guys? What do I mean by that? If you're a transgender woman, you have, at some point in your transition, encountered a very arrogant, toxic, discreet DL dude talking to you. More often than not, you're minding your own business. You could be walking, you could be like just chilled up on social media looking at pictures of cats to make you happy, and somebody's gonna slide in those DMs and start talking to you. And talking to you crazy. And when I say talking to you crazy, it's almost as though, like, they, obviously, I mean, they don't treat us the same way that they treat women. I mean, come on, we know this. They'll jump into the comments and they'll jump into sex, and, you know, they may tell you, I know your secret, I'm into that, like, what fetishes are you? Are you, like, a dominatrix? What's going on? Like, when can I see you? They jump straight to that. Girl, they don't even offer to take you to Wendy's first. No. They jump straight into the conversation believing that you are so broken down and your self-esteem is so low and your value as a human being is so low that you are willing to agree to meet with a man who doesn't even have a profile picture, who is in his 50s. Yes, girl, his 50s. Yes. Pot belly and everything. I mean, it doesn't even matter. Even if he wasn't in his 50s and he was an attractive guy, up in your DMs talking to you like you're going to have sex with him immediately. At his convenience. They talk to you as though you have no options. And I'm just kind of like, whoo, I wish I could send you a screenshot of my phone, though. I wish I could send you a screenshot of my inbox, though. I wish I could take you just one day walking down the street with me. Because you know what? Whether it's on social media for all of the guys that are too afraid to confront me in real life, whether it's on there and them jumping on my DMs, or whether it's me walking down the street to go buy milk like I did just now. There'll be like 15 dudes trying to talk to me. Look, I'm not the prettiest girl on the planet. I really am not. I'm average in my country at best. You know what you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like top tier. But let me tell you something. When I walk out of that door, people stop their cars, people hoot, people are like, my angel, my baby, my princess. People are like, where are you going? Let me take you. People are like, it takes me about, what, a minute, 2 minutes to be walking down the road and for a guy to stop and be like, it's too hot for you to be out, baby. Get in my car, where are you going? But you know, I'm in my 30s. I'm old enough to know that that's a bad decision. So I understand that there are people who find me attractive and who are going to go to great lengths to try and be with me. I also understand that my transgender sisters are experiencing the same, if not an identical reality. I understand that my transgender sisters, just like me, still have a DL boy who will not leave you alone. You know why he won't leave you alone? You know why he won't leave you alone? It's because at the end of the day, we are the gatekeepers, we are the minority, and because we are the minority, it means that we have ultimate monopoly on the dating scene when it comes to Transville. We're the ones who decide when we're going to meet you. We're the ones who decide how long it's going to be for. We're the ones who make the decisions, but for whatever reason, I don't understand this twisted logic, but these guys have got it in their heads that they're going to try and break down our self-esteem. They're going to try and make us feel like we are essentially nothing. And by doing that, they're going to be able to have some type of control over us and have us as their little, you know, sex secret toy that they keep, you know, conveniently away for when, you know, the urge arises. They can go quickly get you, and then when they're done, they quickly, you know, put you away. Baby, that only happens if I say it happens. The minute I decide to block you, where are you going to find another trans girl? Because let me tell you, even if you do find another trans girl in your city or in your rundown town, chances are I already know her because the community is so small that we know each other. I could be living in a city like Johannesburg, New York. I could be living in a city like Sydney, Australia. You know, like big cities. And I would still know a lot of the trans girls in the community. And if there was a dirty chaser, if there was a dirty DL boy, guess what? Your name would be run like smuck through the community, and we will all stare at you in judgment, thinking, do I want to mess with this boy? Because my homegirl told me that he did A, B, C, and D, and I don't want to deal with that trauma. Y'all make me laugh. Y'all really got me on my... Y'all really make me laugh. If you honestly think that you have any control over a transgender woman, if you honestly think that you letting me go or you running away, you're going to be able to come back and find me or find something just as good, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to still be thinking of me. You're going to still be thinking of the other trans girls. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, guess what? Down low men, chasers, and I'm sorry to throw you sweet trans attracted men up in that group, but some of y'all trans attracted men as well, you understand that the urge, the feeling, the desire that you have for transgender women is going nowhere, because you understand that the male penis is very stubborn, and you know it's always going to be pointing at whose direction? Transgender women's directions. Not to get vulgar, I hate to put it that way, but all I'm trying to say is that we as transgender women, we are the ones with the actual power in this game. So all of this chicanery, all of this idiocracy, all of this stupidity, where these men think that they're going to beat us down, where they think they're going to berate us, and then at the end of the day still bed us, It's not going to happen unless we give you permission to make that happen. So I'm here to tell you, my sweet, innocent, beautiful angel, baby, sweetheart, baby trans, if you're watching this and you have some fool making you feel all types of ways, I want you to quickly go out that message. Look at your other messages. There are other dudes trying to talk to you, especially if you're out on social media. And trust me, whatever you think you see in that dude, girl, all you see is trauma. All you see is pain. All you see is another opportunity for you to try and make yourself wrong. Because you know what? Once you're transgender, sometimes you can get into this weird headspace where you're trying to prove yourself to people. And by getting into that weird headspace, you end up attracting all these toxic people. You just pull them in, girl. You pull them in and you try to prove that, oh, I'm good enough. Please pick me. And by doing that, girl, you start messing up the rules of the game, because it's not supposed to be like that. They're the ones. They're the ones who run after us. So, we're going to get into the story time, and y'all are going to understand why I'm all up in my feelings. I just needed to hydrate before I get into this. So basically, you know, I've been talking to different people as part, this is going to sound weird, as part of my healing process and stuff. I decided that, you know, I'm not going to, I'm not going to punish myself because I've been a victim of assault. And I'm going to slowly start to take back the very thing that I felt disempowered me. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? I want to get back into the dating scene, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I'm swiftly moving on. So, you know, I do what a lot of people do. I get back onto my Tinder, and I've decided that I'm going to always put on all of my social media that I am transgender, because I've run into too many people who have, I don't know, they just didn't know, and then I met them, and then I end up liking them, and it always ends up badly. So I just want to avoid that altogether. So when I see someone, obviously on Tinder, the reason I swipe right is because they've either said something really funny or smart, in their bio, or they have some goofy picture with a dog or something, or I don't know. There's always something that draws me. There has to be something weird or quirky about the person. You know what I mean? So I swipe right, and me and this Viking. Now, me and the Vikings, we've not had a good time. I'm sorry, but I don't know. I'm sorry to put it like this, but me and y'all have just not gotten on the way that we should. And I don't understand why, because I've gotten on with Swedish girls, I've gotten on with Norwegian girls, I've gotten on with Danish girls, but the men have just, woo, the men have had me crying to my ancestors. The men have had me and my ancestors upset. So, you know, I swipe right. Dude's a Viking. Cool, whatever. We start talking. You know what I mean? He's kind of funny in the beginning, and I always appreciate a funny man. If you can just hit me with the jokes, if you can hit me with your intellect, if you can, you know, have some good conversation for me, I'll just be like, whoo, I'm ready. Anyways, so, you can tell, I liked him. I really thought he was cute. You know, we were talking, and I made sure right at the beginning, like I was like, dude, I'm transgender, right? Like, you read my bio. And he's like, yes, yes, of course. And I'm like, awesome. We love that. Cool. So then, I'm all like, we definitely need to meet up. Let's meet up for drinks, coffee, like, whatever. And he's all like, yes, yes, yes. So we meet at this, like, cool, like, sort of, like, indie, bar. It's, like, one of my favorite in Cape Town. It's called Yours Truly. So we go there, and, oh my gosh, we have so much fun. Now, I've had encounters with Vikings before, and I've had encounters with the Dutch before, and I understand that men from that demographic, from those demographics, they tend to put the D in going Dutch. They believe that, you're getting yourself there, you're going to take yourself back home, I'm not paying for nothing, I'm not paying for a drink, I'm not doing anything. To the point I've even come across some Vikings who won't even open the door for you, girl. They will not do any of that. They won't do any of that. Leave that for the British. Leave that for the Americans. The Americans are the ones who are going to hold the door open for you, not our beautiful Vikings. It doesn't work that way. So, like, I get there, and I get there with this understanding, I get myself a drink, he gets himself something, we're having a fun time, and, we're kicking, and, yeah, obviously we're kissing, and we're feeling up on each other, and things are going so good, because the previous date I'd been on, I felt like I wasn't ready to do that. And now I'm starting to feel like, oh, I can start kissing and doing all of these things again. So, he's all like, can I get you another drink? So he gets us, more drinks. And we continue kissing, and then he gets us more drinks. There is a reason I am, emphasizing that he got us drinks twice. So he got us something called... it's a Savannah Dry, so he got us drinks, right? So, cool, whatever. This boy. After the date, I was gonna, I was gonna actually get on the bus, and then from the bus I was gonna take an Uber and get to my place. And he was like, no, I'll take you, it's cool. And, I was taken aback. I was like, oh my, maybe I have misjudged the Vikings. Maybe I've judged them too harshly. Cool. So he takes me home. We end up getting lost because I'm terrible at directions. But we kind of have a fun time in the car, just joking, and kissing. And the thing is, in Scandinavian culture, the belief is that you need to first have sex with somebody, and then you get to know them. It's kind of like sex, and then what is your name? Okay, I'm exaggerating, but you meet somebody and you immediately sleep with them to make sure that that part is good, and then you get to know them as a human being. Girl, I don't come from a culture like that. I come from a culture where, you wine and dine and you get to know the girl, and, you, try to, be nice to her, and Valentine's Day her. I come from that world that clearly is disappearing. So, yeah. He takes me home, and I'm a little bit shocked that a whole Viking is going to do this, but cool. And we were going to meet up the next day, but something comes up, and I end up not meeting up with him, and he has to go off to Knysna, which is another town in South Africa. And unfortunately for me, that's kind of like when everything went down with the psych ward. Yes, yes, girl. So things kind of like go pear-shaped for me a little bit. So we don't talk for a little bit, but I kind of knew that he was having his holiday in Nye's Nest, so I would send like messages here and there, and he would always respond, And then, I got out, and then it actually coincided with the time that he came back from Nye's Nest. So cool, whatever. So, at this point, I message him and I'm all like, are you back in Cape Town? And he's all like, yes, yes, yes. And he wants to meet up. And immediately he makes it clear to me that he wants to meet up to have sex immediately. Immediately. If not immediately, sooner. And I'm like, oh, okay. Goodness. I'm like, well, I mean, you're attractive and I do want to meet you, and it's, you get sort of caught in this, like, web where you're like, I do want to be intimate with you, I actually do, but this is actually stepping on a boundary that I've set. So what am I going to do? Am I going to do what I have done in the past? Am I going to ignore the boundaries that I've set to protect myself? And just be with this boy and end up brokenhearted and crying and wondering why life happens the way it happens? Or am I going to choose different? So I'm stuck in this like web because I'm like, oh, like, why did it have to be one that was cute though? Couldn't it have been like an average looking one? Like, I'm just kind of like, I wish sometimes God would test me with the average looking men. Please, just once, just so I can show you, God, how strong I am against the average looking man. Not the hot one. Don't throw the hot one and then test me. So, I'm all like, ugh. I want to meet up, and then I was like, I don't know. But I sort of decided that I was going to find out what his location was and find out if I could first meet up with him, and he had moved from his hotel to an apartment. So I was like, okay, cool, send me your location so I can check how much it's going to cost for me to Uber there and Uber back. Girl, I gagged when I saw how much it was gonna cost. So I was like, geez. So I mentioned to him, I'm like, geez, Uber is getting comfortable with some of these prices, girl. I was like, it costs this much. This is where, things get messy. I'm like, oh my goodness, it costs this much. And so then I ask him, do you mind, paying half of it, or, coming to get me, or, whatever, just to kind of make it easier, you know what I mean? This is where it gets messy. So, he then goes on he starts talking about, it's just he comes from Sweden, and in Sweden, when you're a woman, you're expected to be independent 100% and pay for everything. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, I actually do know that. And he's like, yeah, it's just, I've already bought you drinks and, and now, there's the Uber. And I'm like, this is where common sense hit me like a ton of bricks. I suddenly realized, first of all, this man, he was the one who essentially wanted to meet me that day. He was the one who wanted to meet me that day, you know what I mean? To specifically have sex. So, the minute I tell him, oh geez, it's, the Uber is looking kind of crazy right now. maybe you should make it like for later, or can you go half, or can you come get me? That's when he wants to set up all of his boundaries and stand there like a lord looking down on me as though I'm asking him for money. He literally went as far as to say, yeah, he spent this money on these drinks, and you know, in his country, things like that would be considered prostitution. So I'm like, cool, you know what, I am more than happy to pay you. It would have, how much was it? It was 30 grand. So the one drink was 30 grand and the other drink was 30 grand. So for those that don't know the exchange rate, it was $2. So I was happy to give this man back his $2. So I started, you know, typing, and I was like, you know what, I'm so sorry that I made you feel uncomfortable, but I will do everything in my power to make sure that I pay you back. Can I please have your banking details right now? You know, which way would you like me to do this? And he's all like, now he wants to be like, oh, no, because he sort of realizes how ridiculous this is now sounding. And he's like, no, I was just explaining in Swedish culture. And I was like, well, thank you for that wonderful explanation. Let me explain what it's like in black culture. In black culture, white people often look down on you as though you are less than human. They think that you want something from them and automatically assume that you are bad. Therefore, you have to come across as though you are a non-threatening black person. You have to smile and giggle, even though you are dying inside. So I was like, I am happy to pay you back your $2. I will go to great lengths to make sure that you are paid and comfortable. However, you just told me about your boundaries, let me set mine. In my culture, men wine and dine me. In my culture, if a man gets a woman pregnant, and they're not married, he has to pay for damages. In my culture, men have to give something called lobola to pay for a woman's hand in marriage, to essentially thank the family for raising such a lovely young woman. Now this can go all the way up to R1 million. And no, that money doesn't have to be used for the wedding. I've encountered men from the United States, from Australia, from the United Kingdom, even from South Africa, who have gone to great lengths to come and talk to me, who have understood when I was not comfortable. I've even dealt with men who were willing to wait 3 months if that's what it took. So I was like, I'm not about to break any of these boundaries here. Here's your $2. You keep it, girl. You just spend it on something special. Spend it on something special. Spend it on you. But when it comes to what you actually wanted, which is us having sex, no. No, not unless you play by my rules. Because you know what? Me as a transgender woman, I make the rules in the transgender dating scene. I don't care how cute you think you are. And I love these sex tourists. Can we just talk about them? I love these sex tourists from Europe that have been coming to Cape Town and preying on these vulnerable girls. I love it. And I love how essentially he puts it out there like, I can just, I've been with other black girls, I can just be with other black girls, as though, we're these cheap, easy things that are available to him. Yes, we're just waiting for you, Master. We're waiting for you, Cecil Rhodes, Please come down and just exploit us and just take us and take our bodies, and don't expect us to have any boundaries. Boy got in his feelings, I got into mine, and I realized at that point that no, I will never change or compromise on these boundaries, because I've set these boundaries. I've set these boundaries to protect myself. There is a reason. There is a reason I have these boundaries. It's not that I'm difficult. It's not that I'm frigid. It's not that, like, I'm just this emotionally disturbed trans woman. No, it's because I understand how evil some of these men can be. I understand how some of their minds can work. And I understand how some of them come to hurt, kill, and destroy. And I'm like, you better hurt, kill, and destroy your mama, because you're not about to play those games with me. I've placed these boundaries. Respect them. And for you watching, you beautiful baby trans, set boundaries for yourself. Only do something that makes you comfortable. If it hurts, stop. Course correct. You make the rules. You know how much you cry about being the only trans at your school or at your college or in your city? Guess what? You being the only trans in this school, in this city, in whatever area you live in, there are like, 80 guys that are looking your way that wish they could have you. And they know that you're the only one. You are that rare unicorn that people see only once. That's why they stare so much. Because they know they're never going to get a glimpse of it. So they want to see as much of your beauty and greatness as they can. And the idiots think that they can stop you or stop your shine by hurling all these insults. No, dude. You being transphobic is not going to make me want you. I've said this before. And you trying to break down my self-esteem and you trying to make me seem like I'm something that I'm not is not going to make me take these panties off any faster. They're going to stay on. They're going to stay on. Anyways, I have talked way too much. But I hope you guys know that you're beautiful, you're loved, and you hold the power. Now, use that power wisely, my angel. Use it wisely.